Welcome to AM to PM, a show where two guys talk about stuff that's fascinating to none of our relatives.
Wait a second, we're related, you know?
I'm not that into it. Hey, I'm Andrew Monahan, a Muppet from the first season of Big Brother Canada.
And I'm Pete Monahan. Grover!
Sounds more like Johnny Mac. On this week, we'll talk about... I can't remember. Pete, what's on tap?
We're going to talk about cases of HOH-itis. We're going to talk about how the edit is different than what we actually see on the live feed. We're going to try and define what floaters mean, as well as the evolution of the game over time.
Okay, Pete. So, let's get started? So, you just slept with Big Brother, didn't think about protection, and now you come down with a nasty case of HOH-itis. Symptoms include hot dog fingers, a swollen head, a crazy god complex, raging paranoia. Pete, what do you think?
Well, I think it's a classic thing that happens every single season, and obviously there are many reasons why. I think that you can safely say that you were someone who did not have it. Although, you occasionally said, like, Gary's my target, and that's what everybody says.
I'm getting him out with no votes.
Exactly. But, people get in there with a case of sitting around. They don't have power. Plus, I think it comes part and parcel with the type of people that they get on the show. They don't want someone who's level-headed who's going to say, You know what? I'm going to get in here. I'm going to use it to build relationships.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out ways that I can get what I want out of it without getting blood on the old hands, as we like to say, right?
I wish I had a nickel for every time that was said. I agree with you. People totally don't use it the way that they should. They just blow up with a big head. Case in point for my season, I would think of Tom, unfortunately, came out, hey, look,
King Tom!
I'm going to get them out and all this stuff. And people always forget that once the nominations are made, and if someone wins the veto and you make a replacement, well, you don't have any votes. So people go, hey, we got to do what the HOH wants. Meanwhile, all the people are sitting there going, hey, they don't vote. Everybody always forgets that, so we have to do what the HOH wants.
Well, I think it's also comes with an easy way for you to sort of, other players to scapegoat the HOH, which feeds into their delusions of grandeur. We're going to do what you want, man. Yeah. Because they want to they might think, this is a good idea. I can get what I want, get rid of someone, and let them think that they're doing good. But also, they can shoot themselves in the foot by looking like a maniac. Like, on what's going on right now, Vanessa was a maniac. You saw her, they sort of didn't show how crazy she was going after Jeff. And saying, you're going to mess with me now when I'm the HOH? Which was a totally dumbass move by Jeff.
Yeah, it was.
You can see that she's just walking around.
You see, it's funny when you see somebody then after, so the veto's been used already, and then they're saying, hey, talk to the HOH. It's like the HOH has no power once that's done.
Only in the case where there is a tie, which is very rare.
It's rare that happens. But really, people just don't take advantage. And I understand, you get that power and you think, I am going to make a big move. Yes. I'm going to rule this game. And then, oh, wait. Next week, I'm not allowed to play. Oh, hey, will you be my friend? Oh, wait, we didn't make a relationship?
That's right. I told you to get away from me because I'm in power. What are you doing in my room?
Hey, how often does it happen that someone wins HOH?
And they go out the
next week?
Happens quite a bit, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it also happens where the opposite happens. Someone, doesn't go out, stays magically, and then they win the HOH. So it works both ways. But people get HOH-itis all the time. There's sadly no cream for that. There is not a pill that you can take.
There is. It's called losing the HOH the next week, and then having to eat your piece of humble pie, which hopefully cures you and gets rid of your genital warts. Oh, that was Scott from season 4.
Hey, I forgot to tell you something, by the way. Oh, what, you get a cold sore?
No. Yeah, I do. It's on my wang.
It's on my Dorcas. We voted to evict you. It's like, yeah, no shit.
We voted to evict your genitals, and you're attached, so get out of here. The great thing about Big Brother is that it's happening in real time. So those of us who are following the live feeds know exactly what is happening. The other 99.9% of fans are slaves to the edit. According to production, Andrew wasn't even on the show.
That is actually true. I remember, I think it was week 2 when they brought in some more food after they had, of course, ate it all and drank all the milk. Well, there's a carton of milk there, and lo and behold, there was a picture of me.
Have you seen this
man?
No, I haven't.
Nobody looked at it, and we just crushed it, and then we kept on going. Look, I understand it's a TV show, and it's true. I have most of my fans are from the live feeds because that's when I'm making my comedy gold, obviously. But, you're not going to have a show. It's going to be based around what's happening each week, as well as some of the nice stuff that the production wants to throw in there, which is not going to be, Previously on Big Brother, Andrew and AJ talk about 1970s Oakland Raiders football games.
Yes.
Or hey, look, watch Andrew and AJ discuss all the women that AJ's bedded at a nominal fee whilst he eats a bag of spinach leaves and hot dogs. You know what I mean?
Well, of course, productions, they're having a meeting and say, so what's happening this week? Well, Emmett and Jillian are in power again and they're sucking face every day. Well, wait a second. Andrew has been telling some great jokes.
Exactly. That's not what the show is about.
Crickets.
But also you can see people get a good edit, people get a bad edit. Say, hey, they get a bad edit. Like some people said, Tom got a bad edit in my season. I don't think.
I thought he actually got a very good.
Yeah, exactly. But like say Gary, for example, he was production's favorite. He was the star of the show. But when I was living there, I was like, oh my God, this guy's a nightmare to live with.
Yeah.
But then when I watched the show afterwards, I was like, oh my God, he's so sweet. This production tricked me too. I forgot that he was a crazy roommate to live with. But they can.
Well, it happens all the time.
Well,
so this is what's happening now.
Exactly.
We see Big Brother 17. Jeff just left.
Yeah.
If you only watch the show, you think, hey, that's that guy from The Amazing Race. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Really, you didn't see any of the misogynistic comments or the way he was treating the girls
Yeah.
and some of the disgusting behavior he and James got on with.
Yeah.
Even though Meg, on a few occasions, pointed it out to him and he's kind of like, oh my God, am I being bad? It's like, yeah, you're disgusting. But that didn't come out in the show at all.
Well, like I think we've talked about this many times, but in the very beginning of my season, Liza and I were totally in an alliance. We didn't have a name or anything like that, stupidly. She was pretty heavily featured in the early goings, but they never, all of a sudden, boom, out of nowhere, and I don't know what week it was, week 3 or week whatever.
It was when Tom was
and then it's like, boom, we got to get rid of Andrew, and it's like, meanwhile, there she is rubbing, Peter's rubbing her leg, and there's like, hey, this love triangle with Andrew. Like, what? But everybody's going,
there's no proof of that.
What? I thought,
wait a second, isn't that guy who loves romantic comedies and is really old?
Exactly. Isn't that guy who's AJ's showmance? You know what I mean? Or whatever. So, the edit is, they do a great job. I love watching the show every once in a while. And every once in a while they throw in someone who you're like, hey, wow, there's no one, who is that? But this
season
he
got hit in the face by a train.
Something like that.
Wow,
She's
who's
not
this person?
playing the game without saying anything with,
Jackie. They show her a few times, but that's the opposite case.
Exactly the opposite.
She's talking every once in a while in the diary room, but in reality, she's barely ever featured.
No game at all.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, but that's the edit. It's a TV show.
That's why we watch the live.
That's what's great about Big Brother is you can't.
Yes.
That's why we've got so many fans, crazy fans, great fans, because you're watching and saying, that guy's there doing that right now.
Yeah,
whereas
absolutely.
if you watch The Amazing Race or Survivor, I love those shows, or MasterChef, stuff like that.
It's already
been done.
And that's why people come up. I've had people when you were on the show, someone's like, so, I was like, yeah, my brother's on Big Brother. And I was like, oh yeah, well, how was that? He's there right now. What? What do you mean? It's not finished?
Yeah, people don't know.
Yeah, he's on the island somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But the edit is different than the reality.
Yeah,
obviously,
you get a different experience if you only watch the show.
And you know what? I don't watch live feeds, but I look at all the stuff from
watch
on Big Brother and all those guys. So that's how I feed. Floaters, get your life vests. Hold on, I'm confused. What's a floater?
Well, a floater. This is a term that has been bandied about throughout all the seasons. Originally coined back in season 4, it was June was the most famous floater because she was floating between the power centers, and that's what she used to get to the end. But the most famous one is what you said, which is when Rachel said it after she won HOH in the 4th week, and I think that's when Kristen went.
Yep,
because
12,
she in her mind, and it's actually a more realistic use of the word, is they're just floating around in the water without anybody to pull them along. So that's why everybody, and I think even Julie says it. When Jeff was evicted, she said, "Do you think Jackie is just being a floater?" So she obviously. She subscribes to that use of the word. A lot of people on Twitter, I know Cleo the Leo often wants us to use the term coaster.
Yeah, coaster.
In saying you're just coasting along and not doing anything. So whatever it is, it doesn't really matter.
Well,
we know how people use it, and it's a strategy.
Well, Topaz claims to have coined the phrase "jumper" on my season, talking about Tala.
A nice jumper.
Yeah, jumper also a little bit. But saying that she's jumping to the power, which is the same as saying floating to the power. It's that is different than coasting. I think coasting is, I did that really in the beginning of my season because you know, and that's
Well, it's like
that's a
people
smart
used to
move.
say.
You just
You
say,
remember on Survivor, people used to say that you're under the radar.
yeah, under the radar, absolutely, which is coasting, which is floating by, yeah, just without getting any blood on your hands.
And
You know,
at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, it's a good move. It's a good strategy. I think it works well if you want to make it far in the game. If you want to be
at the end of the day, if I don't throw anybody under the bus, I won't get any blood on my hands.
exactly, and that's actually true. That is
That's
actually
very
true. So it's a great strategy. You just have to be. I think what goes well with being a floater is a good social game. So then, and then it's, you know, there's sort of that fine line between, well, they're floating or well, then you can call it a social game. Like I could call mine, hey, I played a great social game, and everybody liked me. You know, people might say, really, why would they like you? Well, you know, because I was a funny guy and I listened to their stories. But I floated and I coasted.
Well, because you were like, bros, let's make this the quintos.
Exactly.
But they're already like quattro. We're all set.
Exactly. It's all right. That number doesn't really work that well. So, you know, I don't care what they call it. It's still a good strategy, especially when there's so many people in the house.
Remember Big Brother 1? I don't, because I didn't watch it. I did watch Big Brother 2, though. That was 15 years ago. A lot has changed since then.
The game sure has evolved since way back in 2001, wasn't it?
Well, 2000 was Big Brother 1.
Yeah, well, 2001 is what I'm talking about. I mean, it obviously evolved from, you know, what was the worldwide version of Big Brother, where everybody just votes.
Until it became Survivor in a
Exactly,
House.
Survivor in a House. They love it. It was great. We all loved it when Dr. Will came along, Chilltown, all that, you know, the other people, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that was 12 people in a house with one competition a week, and that was it. There was PB&J.
Yep.
And that was basically...
Nobody had any idea about strategies or
exactly,
what was going on.
because you had no, you know, you didn't, hey, I used to watch all the live feeds so I know how to play. There was none of that. It was just, okay, let's see what happens. Work as we go. It was almost like how I played my game. It's like, because I feel like I never watched it. But anyway, it's another story. Now you're looking at what, 12 people. All of a sudden, boom, you're up to like 16 people.
Yep.
You got the evolution, obviously, with, you know, the veto, the golden power of veto. Then you've got the diamond power of veto. Then they've got a bunch of twists. Then bring people in. Then now you've got the battle of blanc.
Oh yes.
You know, so now
everything
it's just twist. So it's a far away from season 2, so that's why when people make those comparisons, hey, you know, you can't because each season is different, and you know, now I think more back to season 16 when, you know, with those guys, Zach and, you know, Derek and all those guys, they went in thinking, hey, I know sort of the template for what Big Brother is. You know, you get an HOH each week. You got, you know, and then all of a sudden, boom! It's like now it's Battle of Block, and you know, as we like to say, it is a fan favorite, so that's why it's back.
Yes,
I'm not.
Who are these damn fans?
Anyway,
yeah, it's completely different. So you cannot go in, and you know, we saw Godfrey Manguise tried on Big Brother Canada 3. He thought, if I try to sort of play that floating game, not get any blood on these hands, and go along, but then at the end of the day, he didn't win because everything's changed. You got to win a bunch of competitions. You got to go and you got to be sticking out like a sore thumb. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to coast and go under the radar and do all that kind of stuff. Back when Dr. Will won, and I really think Dr. Will could win any season, but he couldn't play that game and win. It would be impossible. He was, you know, if you take 28-year-old Dr. Will and put him in the house now, he's going to use his social skills. He's going to be funny. He's going to be likable. Yeah. But he's also an athletic, smart guy who I'm sure could win competitions and make alliances and do all that kind of stuff. Because back then he was kind of like doing stuff. You know, I often think back to Richard Hatch, the guy who won the first season of Survivor. He created the alliances. After then after that, everyone was like, let's make an alliance, let's make an alliance. Yeah. Back then they were kind of like, what is this? I don't understand.
Exactly.
So everything's different.
Well, it is, and of course, like you said, okay, if you take, you know, 28-year-old Will from that season, put him in now. Well, now there's been 15 years of Big Brother. You know, there's been 3 seasons in Canada, so people have a lot of homework that they can do before they go in there.
Study.
And also, some people go, hey, you know, that guy's, because I remember when I first saw Alec Beal, I was like, wow, this guy's a douchebag. Sorry, but after I said that, I was like, wow, he's just like Dr. Will, because he's a social psychologist, good-looking dude with ripped, you know, all this, and I really liked him. And their eyebrows are nothing alike. But that's probably because Dr. Will plucks a lot more.
That's right, and shaves his arms.
He doesn't like hair.
Exactly. Anyway, it's all different, but we still love it.
We do the evolution, baby. Yeah, that's the way it is. You know, it's just gotta. It's true though, because I watched almost every season. But you remember back in, you know, season 6, I was like, this is crapola, and I stopped watching. So I didn't even watch All Stars until after it was done.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because I was turned off by it, because it was the same, you know, and then all of a sudden you have a bad season like season 6 with the, you know, the friendship alliance and that crap. or the nerd.
Well, they had, back then they had the twists, like that was where they had the pairs.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
they got to the end, they would win $1 million.
Yeah, so I was like,
total failure.
yeah. So when it doesn't work, then you lose your juice for it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, you know what? That's like, they just had 2
Yeah,
Master Chef Juniors in a row. I was like, can I get some grown-ups, please?
Yeah, but we're still gonna watch.
We are. This is Big Brother because we have to, contractually obligated.
And we are doing a show about Big Brother. I don't want to do a show about Master Chef Junior.
Yeah, we can do a show about, I don't know, what's his name? Curious George.
There you go, the man with the yellow hat.
Now it's my favorite time of the week, the douchebag of the week. Who am I kidding? We all know it's the Emperor of Douche, Alec Beal. Alec, you're still a giant douchebag. Well, thanks for watching another episode of AM to PM. I hope you appreciated it and enjoyed it, or didn't. That's all I got to say, Pete.
Well, I wanted to say that I know that previously we hosted these videos on my own personal YouTube channel, but we have created a new branded channel, which is AM2PM. That's the number 2. It'll be, I'm sure you're not going to go searching for it because you're probably not that crazy. You are watching us on the show. Anyway, we're going to put up a link here where you can click to subscribe. So I'd like you to subscribe and go there, and hopefully we'll have lots and lots more videos. And thanks to all of our great supporters out there.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll mix it up a bit too.
Yeah, we're going to do some different stuff going forward because it's still going to be about Big Brother, but who knows. So thanks for watching.
I might do an editorial on the current economic state of Greece. Or I might not.
Yes, the grease that you use in your hair.
Yes.
All right.
Talking Big Brother, talking Big Brother, talking Big Brother.